Hi, this is Karen Grunberg. I am here to talk to you about some of the tags I made for Julie's blog for Handmade for the Holidays. And today we're going to talk about this tag, which uses Copic markers. So I'm just going to give you one example so that you can see what I did. I'm no Copic expert, so please just take it with a grain of salt because I just do what I like and I don't really know enough about them except for what I've read here and there. So the first thing I did is stamp some ornaments, and these ornaments are from my mind's eye, and you can see only one of them here. There's actually a bunch of them, so there's two different stamp sets for two different collections that they have for Christmas, and I'm just going to give you one of them as an example so you can see what I did. So here's one of the ones I used. It's this one, and I put it on a block. This is going to look weird because I have another stamp on the back, but there we go. And you have to use special ink for Copic markers so that the ink doesn't leak. So I'm using this Memento ink. So I put my thing down and I go ahead and ink it. It may not ink perfectly, but hopefully it'll do the best. You also have to use special non-porous paper for Copic markers. So I have that, and then I go ahead and stamp my ornament. It looks a little blotchier than usual, but it's pretty okay. So then I put my stamp back, and then what I did is I picked different colors that I liked, and for my tag I used blues, purples, and pinks and reds. So here we are. I'm going to just color this, and what you want to do with Copics, from what I understand, is you always start with a lighter color and you go in little circles and then you go into the darker color. I didn't do a huge amount of shading with my ornament, so I just colored it. I did some shading, but really very little, not enough to qualify as shading, which is sort of the biggest forte of Copics, is that they shade and blend really beautifully. But this item was too small, or I was not talented enough, I'm not really sure. Anyway, so then you basically take the one tiny darker color and you put it on the sides where you want to shade. So let's say I want to go from here and then from here, and this is just to show you. And then you go back with the lighter color, and you just go back over what you did so that it blends better. That's supposed to be the trick to Copics because they're alcohol markers, but I think these two colors might be too far apart for the blending to work nicely. Or, you know, it might just be that I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, I think I picked 0 and 4. So here you go. You basically keep doing things like this until you like it. And then I used my red as a highlight color. So I did these lines in red. It looks like I used a slightly different red on my other one. But pretty straightforward. So I just colored it all the way I liked it. And then I cut around it. Not a genius thing to do. And then there's a little hole here, so I cut through that hole. That, I must tell you, for me, that was pretty much the trickiest part of the whole thing, and I ignored the little stringy part of it. And then once I cut the little hole off, I put a little baker's twine through it. In my tag I used blue, but I have a red one to show you. So once I cut the hole, which was the tricky part with the scissors, it was very easy to put the twine through. So I put it in, and now I had my little ornament. And then what I did is I covered my tag with a piece of paper. This paper comes from this ledger paper pad that they originally made for the slice, they being Making Memories. But I love this because I love ledger paper. So you can see there's different kinds of ledger paper. I used this one, which is brown. Sorry, I don't know why I said brown. Which is cream colored with brown text on it. So I basically put this on top of my tag. I glued it on there, and then I used my crop-a-dial to turn it over and make a little hole, and then I had it covering my tag. And then the very last thing is, because I had like purples and blues on my tag, I actually used a little bit of Distress ink to color the edges. And I'm going to show it on my original tag just so you can see. So I basically put my blending tool on my purple ink, and this is Distress ink Dusty Concord. And I basically came on my tag once the paper was on it and just put a little bit on it. You want to start from the outside and go in small circles, and that basically adds color to the edges only. So see how it's darker now because I added some more color, and then I can just go all around. And if you want it super dark, you do it a couple of times. If you don't, you don't. You only do it once or twice. And then once I had my background with the ledger paper and with the ink around it, I basically added my little cutout pieces. I put a little bit of dimensional tape to add them just so they would stick out a little bit. I have this generic one, it's nothing special. I just put a little bit under the paper, and then it makes my ornament stick up a little bit, which gives us the string and the whole thing a little bit of a three-dimensional feel. And then finally I added my letters, and those are from the Girls Papery Tinsel and Twig line. And if you look through this sticker sheet, which is the greatest thing ever, it has lots of letters on it, and I used these ones. See these red and white ones? I put them on there. I find that these little letters, maybe because I don't glue them really well, they tend to fall off, so I stitched through them just to make sure that they wouldn't fall off. So if you look at my card, you'll see there's some stitching on it. And then you can also put more dimensional tape on some of them and less on the others, so that one of the ornaments sticks out more, but that's really up to you. That's about it. It's pretty simple for this one as well. I just like Copic markers, and I bought them and they're not super cheap, so I try to look for every opportunity to try and use them, even if I'm not so perfect at using them. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave me comments on Julie's blog or my blog or on the YouTube video, and I will do my best to help respond. All right, happy holidays and have a great day.